Good evening to all the homeowners present for this meeting. We have 3 board members in person, 1 online. And so we are calling the meeting to order at 6:05. We do have a quorum. 4 out of the 5 board members are here. Alfredo sent through 3 different minutes. March 27th, April 10th, April 17th. We are.
Vote on the 27th of March. No, because that day we have I think it was a special meeting, and we disregard it was approved on April day. Yes, so that's the reason that I actually said on the email that we needed to approve that just in case, because I couldn't find him on my records. Yes. Okay.
Any discussion? Alan, you good?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, just on that note, there was it Valley or someone else who was asking for the minutes that it was approved for Vishnu? Was it them who was asked? There was some email that was asking for the official minutes that said that we had voted for something. I forget. Never mind.
I don't know. Maybe if it's Valley, we haven't sent it yet.
Okay,
But
and
I think what Valley asked was the minutes where we approved, and they already have it. I think, no, they already have it, the special assessment payment.
okay, special assessment. Okay, and they have that.
Then they wanted to listen, what was the reason to file finance?
Okay.
It's in there.
RFP and roof updates. Number 4.
May I suggest that because this is the most extensive one, can we change orders?
Do 5 and 6. I'm good with that. So we approved the minutes. We're good on that. Plumbing issue affecting 14 and 15.
Just want to update the board on this call. Yeah. She said the unit 14, 15, and 16, and probably you also heard these. They are working properly. They are trying not to put any type of toilet paper, etc. Through the pipes. What they believe, and so the entity that came probably solved their problem, but they still believe there's something in the future that needs to be done, and it's like next to the parking lot. But for now, what Diana said about the 14, 15, and 16, and then she also told me that they believe the clogging or whatever is closer to Marcelo's house, and that's why you got much worse situation than her and Natalie, because they just got like, okay, the things didn't go down. Marcelo really pop up, but for now, and she called, and I have another message from her. That was the report she did on the 14, 15, and 16. But this is what I know from the same situation happens to my neighbor Gregory. I think was like 4 years ago, and we have to actually replace the main drain that goes into the sewage that goes to the house. And this is connected to the principal. The principal is already being replaced. It's all PVC, all new. But all the branches that come from the house into the main are the ones that are old, and they are like iron. So the corrosion, and it's being already like greater. And for Gregory, they have to actually change all the pipe system because it was completely like disintegrated. So, and that's exactly what I'm assuming, because it's more than 50 years. So that's already cast iron. And this is not being removed. We need to actually understand if any reason, like they probably have the plumbing line for building 2 and 3 updated. But I know for sure that this section on building 4, it wasn't. So mine didn't have the problem when his club. So fortunately, we call an emergency service and they were able to clean it, but the club was in his area. So they have to basically broke the sidewalk, open that, repair, and then that was the problem, the problem.
Possible to do an assessment, it's whenever we want to do an intervention, or this is only need to be done like opening everything, seeing how the pipes are and then replacing, or it's something that we can access it and move. Look, we need to intervene in 31, 49, 39, 17, or is something that only by opening you find out?
Well, first of all, we need to actually do the research, and then after that, we need to, like work whether if it worth to start, like walking, because this is going to be on the sidewalk area. So the sidewalks has to be demolished in order to take all the cast iron pipe and replace it. I know for sure that the main one, it's already replaced. I was here when they did this big
Just those
renovation.
branches
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
Or
all the
slope
branches are the
outside.
one that they didn't touch, but I heard that there were some few sections that were updated. So, but we need to look on the history and ask perhaps somebody that is older to see exactly if that happens in some other areas.
Okay.
So right now the units affected are 14, 15, 16. I also heard something, there was another unit, I think Jean mentioned.
You didn't have the problem when Gregory had clogged with his pipe, right?
No, I didn't have a problem.
We didn't have that situation. That is a little bit much work. And I actually was having a second thought, because the sewage company is actually been here for more than 2 months, and they come and go. And
Right out here?
yeah, this week there's a lot of trucks coming, like almost every week they're coming because something is going on the septic tank. Yeah.
And look, because I asked one of the guys if they're gonna put the wood back, this is very ugly.
We already put the complaint, and it's already in progress, but since they need to do major repair, because they actually need to, they're going to actually maintain it for a easy access.
We might be able to do a test or check, a plumbing company using cameras and some other techniques like pressure, so we don't have to necessarily break before, to really see.
Well,
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but
the company that we use for Gregory, it's a really good one. It's very cheap, and they also have the camera. The thing is that right now with the time, the piping diameter is being reduced because of all the buildup around the pipe, and that is what it makes it, like difficult. So we probably need to do that as a first step, like review all the sections or the line section and see which ones are need more attention, and then prepare a plan based on the conditions. Exactly what we're doing with the roof.
You don't think there's any connection between the work they're doing and the problems they just had?
I was having, my second thought, but I know, because this is basically the main on the street there, and I haven't been able to go into the.
So for now, we just wait and see, and then after.
If we got budget, if we have money, so we can go. We leave it for another.
Until we have the budget, and also stronger users, etc.
22, 23 auditing next steps alignment.
Okay, so
I'm gonna put this over by you.
thank you. As until now, we've been completely overloaded with the transition and everything we are doing, but I want to set the way to do this. So first of all, we received the PDF document from Luis Lavandeira. That is an exhaustive document that I believe the best way is to convert it to a Word document, put it in a collaborative space, and let all of us, the 5 members of the board, collaborate in this document until we provide to Luis Lavandeira. So 2 steps here, or 3. I would convert this document to a Word. I would put it in a Google Space or in Microsoft, whatever, OneDrive. And everybody can go into the document, look at the questions, edit, answer, because then this document is going to be signed by the 5 of us or whoever did the document. And I think it would be great to have us all. And so my first point would be for us to agree, and I don't even think we need a motion for this, if we agree to do it as a collaborative way, because we're going to sign it all. There's like 5, and it's still quite extensive in terms asking about the history of the reward point, etc. So I think the collaboration of everything will be great for this document.
Good.
Good. Perfect.
How many hours?
Sure.
We are going to entertain a lot of hours, okay? The second point is that there is an interview guide for the property manager, for the people that have been in the boards, both in 2022 and 2023. And so we need to ask Luis how usually this is actionable, meaning we are going to send it what? We send it to Mark, Sylvia, Lisa, myself. I was in the board in 2023. You were in the board. So what is the right procedure to get these interviews guide? And what is the enforcement we have for people to answer those questions? Like, do you have any connection with any of the vendors that were hired? This is one of the questions. So if you guys agree, I will send an email to Luis saying what do you propose to circulate these? One of the entities that should answer this is Primex. So I would try to send this to Primex ASAP. That is the positive thing of the amount of invoices they send us, is that I would recommend in the next meeting in May only to pay when we start to have this type of answers. But my initial question is to ask Luis, first of all, make an update that we're going to create a collaborative space, ask how do we proceed about these? Do we agree? Any discussion on these?
No.
Because I don't know.
The only thing
Tell
The
me.
only thing is regarding because you mentioned some invoices from Primex for 2023.
Yep.
So I mean, I cannot, with good conscience approve anything because we were not there, and I don't know, I mean, and there was also, I think they dug something out for a plumbing issue. I don't know if that was the issue that we had at the entrance. They tried to repair it 4 times and they failed until we had to bring another company. So, I don't really know the details of the incident and if it was paid or not. And we need more collaboration from previous board
For sure. Yes.
to approve that.
Yes, but Alan, what I was trying to is that let's discuss this in the first week of May, then we gain time. And that means that whenever we ask for more information that we're going to do from Primex, they still have something pending on our side. So let's not even say yes or no by now. But I completely agree that on May, we send it to Lisa, was the treasurer, the president, Mark, etc. And we ask for clarifications even before taking a decision. But let me just say that we already paid the Primex a lot. For example, when they send the invoice of $750 for meetings, the majority of these meetings were last year. So we already paid things from 2023. But I completely agree with you. Let's contact the previous board. Let's ask them to validate these expenses. Some of them are completely ludicrous, okay? And then whenever we start to have visibility, probably by June, we take a decision. But I agree. Now, inform Luis on the next steps in this email. So sending an email. Then I will create a share folder that everybody can obviously go there and input, because the list of documents he requires is very heavy to send by email. So I'm going to create a share folder where I put everything organized for him to have all the documentation. I will also use this request for guaranteeing that I try to minimize the possibility of leaving anything in building that we should have access. So I already downloaded a ton, but I'm going through that list before we get to the 30th of April. And so I will tell Luis, look, we are going to put like the Dropbox that we are using in RFP. So we're going to use the same type of things. We're going to put all of that there. We're going to give him immediately access. So I don't know how it works, if he can start working with whatever we put there, or if he wants to see all of that. It's a very long list of documentation. So to summarize, an email for him to explain this process, to ask him how do we contact the previous board and Primex, what is the usual procedures, and start to downloading the information for him to do the assessment. Meanwhile, we have that file from him that we're gonna fulfill, and then we need to sign and send to him. I think this, in less than 1 week, we are here.
And we need to sign some things as well, right?
Is this one,
Okay.
is this one. And then for me and Alfredo, because Alfredo was on the board on 2022 and I was on the board in the beginning of 2023, we also need to fulfill the other requirement, which is tell, and it's a very short summary of, but we need to say, look, did we have any connection with vendors, et cetera, and it's a simple questionnaire, I think. And then the critical thing is to understand how. Now, IMA sent a huge Excel. So the Excel is like 270 lines. It's huge. So I was thinking about creating exactly the same type of share folder for us to start putting any type of questions. And I would like the collaboration of everybody, because some of the questions I really don't know. For example, today I asked the W9 to Alfredo, and thank you so much. You asked for Michael. I did not know where was our W9. I didn't have it in my computer. So there are several specific questions that I already saw. And I don't know, so I would put the Excel in a share folder, and then we start answering, and then we can highlight which other things we don't know, and probably we contact whoever to give us the other information. So trying
Yeah,
to
that's good.
divide to conquer here. Okay.
Okay.
Between today and tomorrow. So I'm gonna put the share folder for the auditing and the share folder for IMA, two different things. And then I'll create the third share folder where I'm going to start to put documents there, which are the auditing documents. Which, by the way, like I said, Building had a lot of very nice capabilities. For example, I could download all the ledgers in one single file for all the 41 units. Sorry?
I was gonna say that.
Are you what? What?
You can change our mind.
No, so, and this, for example, this is where I could see Angela's payment of 1,965 that she was paying 3 months at a time in the beginning of 2021. So it's a very nice way to check out by unit, okay, what was happening in each one of the years, how much money. Obviously, it's the reconciliation from Billion, but we don't have access for now for a lot of the accounts we had by that time. So we only have the bank
Yeah,
statements.
just one point of clarification. Do we have it until April 30th or May 1st?
So we have it until May 3rd, probably 9 AM. And that was the critical thing to arrange the plan B, which was so the plan B came today. So we were always discussing with Tiffany the plan B.
Someone's in there.
And
Sorry.
and the concern of was if they disconnect at 9 AM, ACH and EFT might have run during the night. And that would, when they disconnect, nobody knows in Billion if the money would be caught in the limbo of Billion. And I was saying, okay, so can we disconnect on our side? And Tiffany called yesterday, she couldn't understand. Today by lunchtime, she called me, said, okay, now I talked with the supervisor of the supervisor of the supervisor. They just need an authorization from the board, which was why I sent the email today by lunchtime. And we need also that I'm going to provide to the board to be validated, like a communication that tells to all the owners, look, if you're already disconnected, perfect. If not, we're going to run a full disconnection. So no one-to-one payments or automatic payments after Friday. Why Friday? Because as we were told in one of the meetings with Vishnu, is that they take like 2 or 3 days to run the ACH and EFT. So if they disconnect on 29 and then they close it on the 1st, they might still have some transactions that were ordered in a one-to-one that still didn't meet value, which would be very strange. So it will not go to the interior, but it's better to be careful than to regret afterwards and then be months and months asking for money that people paid and it's nowhere. So it's going to be, this part is going to be disconnected on 26, communicated also to the owners, and then we're going to lose access from Billion by what Tiffany saying 9 AM on the 1st of May. And then we are on our own. No, disconnecting okay.
And that email, I received the email as well from,
Valley?
no, CPA, today, that went to all the owners.
Yes,
I received that.
yes.
And so, in that aspect, I know that's not necessarily auditing, but connected to that sort of shut off and what next for owners. You posted it on the board over there.
Yes.
So we have,
We already delivered to the wall, then I have to buy a phone, cartridge for my printer. But then we're gonna deliver also to Estate. I don't know anybody else that doesn't receive emails.
So the lady next to you, no, next to my, Elena doesn't have a computer and she's also. Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I can read one sheet and.
Okay, perfect. I think I can get the cartridge tomorrow, but it's completely ready. Okay, and for me, those was the alignment for the auditing, so we create these and we notify Rich that it's been raised the last 2 weeks, so now is the moment we're gonna start working in all these requests.
and he was probably fine with that as well, finishing up.
The 15. Yes.
Okay, that goes to RFP and roof updates. Before we go and get into all of that, I just wanted to say, I wrote an email to the board, and my intention was not to criticize nor belittle, but Alfredo, just in front of everyone, I just wanted to say my intention was on the process side of things, not your state of work or what you're doing. So I just wanted to re-clarify in front of everyone here, appreciate what you're doing. And as we went in the emails, hopefully the sharing of ideas and opinions is healthy, but we don't take it, like I said, I'm glad that you voiced your concerns and impact. So thank you for that. And I apologize how on that. For the and we're all obviously in a stressful time crunch with everything going on. So for me, that was a good reminder of really, I do approach things head on. So I don't like things to percolate, like coffee percolates and pretty soon it just explodes. And I think how we all operate, I think it's good that we, if we see something, say something, that, hey, that didn't sit right with me. And then we resolve it right then and there. There's too much going on for us to not have that unity. So again, appreciate your response, Alfredo. And as we go forward, that's something that I think is sort of a health check for us as a board. So RFP Monday, I'll kick it off. Can I then hand it over to you? I'm just going to say basically that we invited all the contractors, all the roofers that had received an RFP or that we had mailed out. There were people from the community. There were people from the board. There were people from the project management company that sent out the same RFP email, word for word, to all these different people in the community. And then they notified NV5, who is the project management company, whether they're interested or not. And this past Monday, there was a walkthrough day where different contractors showed up to walk the site, view things, specifically look at any questions they would have. And then that's where I will hand it over to Alfredo if you want to add more depth or insights into that.
Just quick bullet points or to say, like where we at for the preview conference. We did 2 rounds of sidewalk, the one that we shared on Monday with 5 contractors, and I did one yesterday, Tuesday, with another contractor. So far, 6 contractors were present for a total of 6. And I still waiting for Jay to confirm because in my understanding, Jay said that there were some other contractors that were familiar with the site and they already are bidding on the project, but for some reason, we don't have any access. We cannot see exactly, you know, like who is doing who they are.
So they are not in contact with Bylaws and BCC. There are people outside of this.
I believe so, and that's what I would like to clarify with Jay, because so far 6 showed up. He told me that few of them declined because of the nature of the deadline, because it was very, very tight, and they say, no, we cannot do that. And after he realized that, and then we actually explored with all the contractors, we definitely determined that the deadline needed to be extended because it was really, really unreasonable for all the amount of.
The 6 maybe will present. So we,
Seems like they are all on board, but I wanted to make sure that Jay has some other contractor that they're still working and they don't need to actually do the pre-conference. So they relay more on the Dropbox and all the update information. So that's why we extended the deadline for Friday, May 3rd.
Alfredo, should we just set up a call with Jay, or do you want to just try to get a hold of him yourself?
I think that we as a team, we need to get a hold on him, and we need to, you know, like get the update of what's going on for this week. How many RFIs are being sending, because so far what I saw on the drop off, it's no substantial enough. And
Do you want me to reach out to him to set up a call, or do you want to?
if you want to, just
And
go ahead
tomorrow
and
is fine?
tomorrow, yes, we can do it. So, so we postponed the deadline for Friday, May 3rd. We have distributed the updated scope of work on the side, which, you know, like we have some talk, and that's where, you know, like that the whole conversation started off. Some adjustment to the scope were done after the discussion, and that is the one already on the Dropbox. And we took side notes and prepared the minutes and uploaded in the Dropbox for distribution. So this is
just confirming the postpone. And I called Robert and to ask Jay to send an email to help to do that.
that's what I didn't see, and I see when I went to the drop off the link that I have, I still seeing the same information, and for me it's a little bit critical because there is
If they're
no
required.
substantial. Yes, and one thing that we need to provide is the drawings, the design, the engineer's design drawing for the trusses. Everybody is asking for those, and what we only have there is the report from AGC on a very, you know, like this small drawing. So
We have it.
okay.
Alan, do you have that?
Yeah, we have it in the Dropbox.
Oh,
In the in the Google Drive, there's a folder. There's a folder under I think it says drawings under roof project, and you can find there. I know we have roofs 1, 4 in Clubhouse, but we do not have 2 and 3.
but that is the one that Dallas Trust, you know, like design, and that's what they need to follow.
Well, I mean, the design of the actual truss, like the design of the truss itself, it's the same design, and it appears in 1, 4 in Clubhouse. So if that's what they're looking for, they can use that because the design is there.
No,
But
Alan, remember that the new truss is shorter, so that it's a different truss than the ones that they provide for the one.
well, it's not that it's shorter, Alfredo. It's just that the way they design it requires 3 2x4s, and if you put the 2x4s, then it's the same. It's the same as the other one, as the original. But because ACG Engineering disregarded the 2x4s, then the whole thing goes straight onto the parapet, and it became shorter. So the answer is, if they use the 2x4s, then it's going to be the same as what we have right now.
So you say that we have a typical detail that applies to all the buildings? Regardless
Yes,
of the condition that we have on building 2 and 3?
yes.
Okay, because it seems to me like the pitch, the depth and the shape is a little bit different.
No, the shape is exactly the same, but you're gonna see in the design, Alfredo, that there's supposed to be 3 pieces of 2x4s, one on top of the parapet, one on and 2 on the side, basically. And that brings it up and out a little bit and makes it exactly the same as the ones we have right now. So because they did not use those 2x4s, then they are shorter than the original. So the answer basically is we do have the design of them, but they will have to use those 2x4s, which obviously will cost us more in material.
Okay, can you forward those to me and I make sure that I go through it and I make sure that I upload at least one detail so they can follow? Because they are
Yeah,
looking.
I cannot guarantee I'll do it today, but tomorrow for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's about it. Information needed to be uploaded. Thank God that this morning when I went to the drop off, I checked, they have the minutes there and also they have the updated scope of work. I don't know if you guys review it, if you guys have any question.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what else? The specifications still need to be, like sort out and talk, because I'm expecting that the contractors are gonna come with a lot of information, a lot of questions regarding of materials, finishes, which is still, I know that they are already on the most important part of the construction. So this part will come, but we need to be prepared for the to answer those.
Well, there's four of us here. Let's talk real quick, May 6th. Do we want to try to do the same thing? Like they're delivered to NV5. Jay brings them in the evening here, May 6th.
That's what we agree in May
3rd, yeah.
May 3rd, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, wrong day. That Friday, May 3rd. That they're delivered, whenever they get delivered to NV5, it's remain sealed. And then on the evening of May 3rd, he brings them here. Who's ever available May 3rd, then we open them up right there.
You want to open it that day? Okay.
Yes.
And then can I, yeah, well, then we would just need to say between like 4 and 6 or, 3 and 5, whatever.
Because what I would like to do is to open all the bits, but also have already like a sheet template, a matrix that we can start, like one group and say, okay, here's the price, so we're gonna categorize, so we will, like screen through all the bits and then put all tabulates. This is the tabulation process, and we're putting all the items.
Let's see, we have two members on the board, for example, here working on the third to receive the proposals here instead of receiving in NV5.
I could be here like 3:30. And then secondly, once they deliver the hard copies sealed, are we comfortable with them emailing the same information? That would be easier for Jay to put in some sort of spreadsheet.
Yes, but the day after.
Right. And not pre-email and then
Yes.
the sealed envelope, only sealed envelope, and then the following
I feel more comfortable if we just go to the tabulation process and after we got everything, lined out, we communicate.
Okay,
So I could be here, I have to drop a friend of mine that is going to visit us next week, but he gets a plane for Canada 3:34. So I could drop him for water there probably at 2. And I'll need to drive down, so probably from 3 on, I could be here with you.
okay.
So you say a couple hours or a few hours.
If people wanted to deliver, if we are asking people to deliver, for those that do not mail it, they have the option to deliver it here in person, right?
I would say that if we concentrate all on here, we'll be much more secure. That would be my.
So
Well,
then,
that's exactly my point, but then after, around, I understood that it was all delivery to Jay's company, and then he will come here to.
Yeah, because there was no way to get anybody to be here to receive them. But if we have imagine that we have 2 hours in the morning, you and another person could be in the morning, and then 2 hours in the afternoon, and me and Robert could be in the afternoon, you would be here receiving. We put them all in the pile, and then we open it by 6 p.m. That will leave no questions about the process. We receive them, we put it here, we give the receipt, and then we open all of them together.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, that would be.
and are any of those companies from far away or are they all local?
We can say that you can hand deliver here, or you can send it by mail to NV5.
No, by mail, I think that we already sort out this process and it's going to be,
Now with the third, it's easier for them to mail in the beginning of next week if they already have the proposal. I would say that 90% of them will do it by.
no, yes, and delivery, but hand delivery and, probably we decided to get this place as the place for Subito. And we take turns, from 3 to 4.
Yeah, Alan, are you available May 3rd, at least in the evening, if we open up the sealed
You are going to be here.
our proposals?
Let me see.
Be here until whatever time I say.
Yeah, because I think actually
Just-
For now, yeah. For now, I'm available.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But
Al-
anyways, it's not like we need a quorum. I'm sorry.
No.
We just need to be here. We can do like open a Zoom and record as well, just for transparency. And that's
Good idea.
basically it.
Yeah. We put this in,
hanging from the ceiling down.
Maybe, what we can do, we can cross, like a big cardboard box, like seal it and then, open like, like those that we use for going.
Okay. But if we have to Zoom, then people will see people entering. We can say, this is the da da da. And so, yeah, I can be here from 3 on.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and then in that way, if there are some people that mailed it in, then Jay would deliver those for the rest that are delivered in person.
But the question will be.
I think that we need to put a time. I think we need to put a time on Friday saying, guys, we're opening it Friday at this time, at this address. You can mail it to NV5 beforehand or hand deliver it to us at that time, at that date. And that's it.
What time we think?
From 3 to 6, we can be here.
And then we open at 6. 6 is the deadline.
Okay?
And then Alfredo, you and I will talk to Jay about that if we can get him on the line tomorrow. That, we'll be here to collect. But if other people mail it in to him, then he brings it, but we are 6 o'clock is the deadline to receive anything, and then we're opening after that.
And they need to update the deadline submission on.
Yeah.
On the website, on the Dropbox.
Okay. Now, here's a random question. Does that count as a board meeting?
Good, well, if we are more than two, I think then yes.
We will not be talking to each other. So.
When we open up the sealed envelopes?
No, when we open, yes, we can set a meeting.
So then we would need to notify community.
If the community wants to be here, is be here with us.
They could, yeah.
It's even more transparent, so.
We'll make a poll, okay?
So the meeting is from 3 to.
Yeah, we can make it public.
So how are you gonna call this meeting? This is not gonna be.
RFP, those.
Let's do 6 o'clock.
Sorry?
The meeting starts at 6.
No, but I would say even if they want to be, because we're gonna be the three of us together from 3 on. We can say, look, you can be also seated here waiting for, with us the RFP, so 3 to 6 is more, we receive proposals and then 6 we open.
Okay,
So the meeting will be from 3 to 7 and the agenda will be 3 to 6, receiving proposals, which I don't believe a lot of candidates will come. And then from 6 to 7 and opening the proposals. And doing, I like this idea of putting everything already in the tabulation, not very detailed, because it's not really gonna be here at the time, but at least the name, the overall values, whatever, and already we go.
Cannot hear him.
Yeah.
you can't hear, sorry. He's saying he agrees with setting up the meeting, the community meeting from 3 to 7, 3 to 6 is receiving proposals, 6 to 7 opening up proposals. If community owners want to be here, they can. And then we just go right away, high level, not line item by line item, but sort of big ticket items, start tabulating process would start at that point.
But 3 to 7, why so long?
Because 3 to 6 is the time we give for them to come here and drop the proposal. So we're gonna be here working. So it's just for giving the possibility of any neighbor to be seated here. If they, nobody will come, Alan, but because we're gonna.
Yeah, but 3 to 6 is 3 hours. Why? I mean, we can give them a window of 1 hour to deliver.
It's
Risking traffic and other
Yeah.
stuff.
Friday's gonna be rush hour. You're gonna have a lot.
And sometimes they might have another appointments, etc., and they just can come in the beginning. I would give them, I don't mind to be working here. So if, and I think Robert and
Okay.
Alfredo also, so I'll come here working, for me it's indifferent, and so that anywhere sit down in the audience, it will be seated there on forward.
Oh,
Yeah.
their judgment, but
And I think that once we open the envelopes for extra transparency, we should stamp them or sign them, so we know that these are the papers that were delivered and they cannot be switched or anything like that.
do we have on each page or just the envelope?
I don't know how many pages it's gonna be, but it would be better to do each page if we can, or at least the major pages to show financial information and pricing. The idea is that, you know, nobody ever will be able to say Jay went back and changed something or anything like that, you know.
Do we have a stamp?
I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate.
No,
you know.
exactly, like it's one thing to receive it securely, but if a page is swapped out or something different, then, you know, I agree, that makes it more secure.
So
Obviously, we're not gonna sign on the dotted line, but you know.
when we do like, one thing is the signature, another thing.
Initial.
Initial.
Or what we can do is, I don't know if anybody has one of these perforators with some kind of a shape or something, and we perforate or we actually no. You know what would be the best? We have the Leeward Point seal that, you know, it's press. You press it and it gives and it leaves a stamp. Alfredo, you should have it.
Yeah,
Okay, so
but you don't use that.
We can use that.
Just signature, I think it's okay. You don't use the seal for those kind of things.
So just
It's just a mark, and that seal, nobody else has it. We can just, press it, that's it.
Yeah, I think we'll do initials on your first stop. I think that's good, and just two people, so it's two different signatures.
And in the tablature, we might say how many pages we sign. So,
Yeah,
so this.
Well, we have time to think about it.
Yeah.
But I think that something in that aspect should be done.
okay, agreed.
Okay.
The topic. So Diana called today worried about the enclosures. And the topic is this one. We have two possible scenarios from my understanding. Obviously, this is completely open to discussion, even my understanding. One is to wait for any type of legalization and permits of all the enclosures and then terminate the roofs and mansards, etc. Or, and I don't even know if the or is legal or not in Florida, so I'll put these with a lot of grains of salt. We move to close the roofs, close the mansards, etc. And then we take care of, or we as a community, the homeowners, etc. Then we need to discuss these, take care of the permits or the licenses after the fact. What are the pros and cons that at the phone they were discussed? If we go for a very strict process on the permits or license of the enclosures, it means that we are definitely going to enter in the rainy season, hurricane season, etc. The other one is, I don't even know if the roofers can terminate everything without even looking at that.
And that's the part that I want to interject because going through the pre-conference, the pre-conference, is putting some more insight of what the contractors are going to do. So for how the way that we examine the sequence of a scope of work, they say that the enclosures are going to be definitely a headache because there's not only the process of legalization. The legalization includes that they need to actually do the drawings, and that needs to be, passing to an architect or an engineer, and then they need to provide the shop drawings, which is going to be for a manufacturer. The manufacturer is going to do the interfacing, and they might have to demolish that section of the enclosure which is touching the inside. And so for that reason, they say this is going to be problematic and it's not going to be resolved in 2 months. So chances are that you're going to end up, like getting hooked with a problem that is not going to be resolved. In the meantime, you have so many things going on. So their approach is why don't we do flat roofs first, then mansards as it goes by the facing, and then leave all the enclosures separate. And they told me that they actually can do the demarcation with a temporary metal flashing, and they can completely guarantee that water won't be transferred between the interfacing. So basically align all the units nicely when they actually finish the mansards that they can to the enclosures, and leave it up for the last, because they say that the process of legalization on enclosure are going to take more than 6 months. Because and one thing that we need to understand, and that's what I actually asked the contractor to create this method of a statement. Method of a statement is a way how the contractor will approach to resolve this problem. So once we have this in writing, the descriptive, so we understand exactly how we're going to make a measure. Because
so is this democratized with all the contractors? So all the contractors know they need to make a statement about enclosures right now?
That already says on the meeting minutes.
I like this in the email that James needs, because this is so critical. And I really talk about 6 months that like somebody.
No, Joao, it's not only the point of the time. The thing is that there's so many activities inside of the legalization that is also involving the unit owner. So one of the main question is, are the community are going to be able to bear all the costs, because previously we were negotiating with the unit owners and they were paying for this private area, which is not common, and for the other people to pay, it wasn't really fair. But since we have all these circumstances and we have people that have, like different situations, we're gonna be nice. But the extent of the work, once they get into, because there's a lot of unknown, how can I put it this in a way? It's gonna be, the costs are gonna be so greater than what the community can bear. So definitely we're gonna end up having, like a very, very difficult issues to resolve everything for unit owners. No, it wasn't. Unrealistic, yeah. Because, for instance, the unit of Angela, they say because this is the condition. We have four different conditions. Ones that have blocks on the side, but these ones are all glazing, like windows with a frame, and they are not structural supported. So for that, they need to do a tiling on top of the windows. So for that, they need to legalize the windows. And that for us is an extra cost that we don't want to bear. So the city so that's exactly the conversation. Until we collect all this information, we need to get into a point and say, okay, tell us exactly how you're going to approach on each unit and see whether if we can combine, because Jay's solution was, okay, we fix it and then we fix the rest, but we leave the enclosures as it is. And I think this is going to be a challenge, because the city is not going to approve the whole roof if you don't have those already, like connected. So
plus the corner will not be solved. We won't be able to finish the corner. I mean, I agree with everything you said. And basically, I think that we are at a point where we need to consider hiring an engineer that will take care of the 3 enclosures and help us legalize it and move forward, and then see what needs to be done. And what needs to be done, that's going to be on the unit owner's pocket, unfortunately.
Contractor, because we're talking about a GC, we're talking about roofers and then GCs. So if the GC can take care of it, so for us, it's going to be easy. It's a nightmare, but the contractors are willing to do that. The timing, it's one issue, but also the cost, because the cost implication for every atypical situation on those enclosures are going to basically sum up, depends on how the level of difficult, and everyone is different. So.
Yeah. So we have one thing in my mind that I would say, for the unit owners that already paid, and I'm talking about Didier and Angela, $5,000, whatever value that is going to be presented to solve their situation, in the future, my mind, I'm not saying that will be my vote, but my mind would be inclined to discount those $5,000 from the overall value. So imagine that to close Angela's case is not 5, but it's 7.5 or 10. I would say that the unit just pays the difference of what already paid. Obviously, legally, it's a contract that she established with Absolute Pro, did he establish, but I think for fairness, I believe we should contemplate at least and entertain the discussion. The second thing is that I would highly recommend, please contact Diana. Can you?
Sure.
Okay. No, because
I already spoke with June. I mean,
okay, so with Junior, then Junior, because what I got the sensation is that whatever is the path we're gonna follow, if we complicate too much, and I understand it's complicated per se, then we can jeopardize the rainy season. So whatever solution we're gonna
the solution is dissect. So we can dissect those 4 typical problems.
Okay.
And we can
run everything else.
Problem. If they're gonna do the proper disconnection, with the transition, with the flashing, and but we need to actually take some decisions, whether if we're going to analyze, how much this is gonna be on cost and how much this is gonna take on time, and if the association is gonna be able to bear the whole cost, or we're gonna do the negotiation. The very beginning, when I was actually on the first trial, we came into a negotiation where the unit owners needed to pay the materials and exactly what AP Pro was doing.
Okay.
And I would say, my opinion would be, whenever we find out the final price, which one of the unit owners involved, to discount whatever was paid by the unit owner, but to still charge the delta, the difference. So if we find out that's 5,000 was, that's why I was asking if the 5,000 were realistic or not, because I don't think it's fair that we suddenly say, no, we're gonna cover all the
Everything.
enclosure, everything, and if you have a window like this, et cetera, but at least we discount from the overall value what was already paid by the people.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is that we need now to hire an engineer that will help us legalize all of them. Okay, and when I'm saying legalize, I'm saying doing the drawings, taking care of the legalization and how they connect to the roof, and they might get to a conclusion where it says, unit X will need to change the windows, and we're going to have to put reinforcement and this and that, and the unit will have to do it and pay for it. And I agree with you, Joao, that we definitely should discuss the option of those that paid discounting what they paid. That is something that we should definitely entertain. But what I'm saying is we need to move now as fast as possible, because whatever roofer we hire, they will not touch it unless it's legal. They will not touch it.
But from what I'm listening from Alfredo, they are already accommodating the enclosure and bringing with their answer to the RFP some type of solution. So we have 1 week away to see if that is true or not. So my inclination would be to say, let's wait this week. Let's open these proposals. Let's see if they accommodate at least this week, because if not,
But what they accommodate, Joao, what they accommodate is basically the connection between the enclosure and the new mansards. Basically, how the transition happens. That's what they're going to accommodate. It's basically a temporary fix, so water doesn't come in where the new mansard ends and where the old mansard on top of the enclosure starts. I think that's what Alfredo was referring to.
What I'm listening from Alfredo is that they accommodate that to gain time to solve the entire. But if you're right, in 1 week we'll say they are just accommodating to do their work, but they are not covering the second part. Or in their proposal, they say, no, first we accommodate, we close everything. Meanwhile, we put all the permits, etc., which would be what I was expecting in the answers. And we say, look, in 2 months, we close all the roofs, etc., etc. And then there are some pending things that will take us 3, 4, 5 months, but they are still the ones, probably, they are doing that. That is my reading of the situation, but
yes, I agree on the fact that the same roofer eventually will have to come back and finish the work on the section of the enclosures. But until they come back to finish their work, which will be when the enclosures are already legalized, then they need to provide a solution that is not a piece of plastic in between the old and the new. And that's what Alfredo was referring to with metal flashings that will make sure that water will not come in between 2 units.
clear. And Natalie has the end up. So
Yeah, sorry, can I ask something? Sorry, I happened to walk in halfway through Alfredo's conversation, so I'm a little lost. So I just want to understand those illegal balconies, because from my understanding, because when I moved in, I wanted to enclose my balcony and I was not allowed to, etc. So I can tell you guys how much it's going to cost to legalize it, because I did it. So a few comments, like I went through the process of finding out. So a few comments that I have, and again, I'm late, but one is the liability to the association and the rest of us if you don't get in writing that they are going to cover the cost for all of that, because I can tell you right now, the drawings alone run between $4,000 to $8,000 the contractor and all of that, just to legalize it with the city, is gonna run close to 12 to 15,000 is what I was given. So the 5,000 is definitely not even gonna hit the surface because it's legalizing the balcony, and then on top of that, the material and extra work that it's gonna cost them for the roof, which is obviously not the rest of our, the association's financial responsibility because they did that, illegally. So that's a concern to me, hearing that obviously that's gonna affect the process of the roof and the delay with, the hurricane season coming and the rain and all of that. But also financially, I'm worried about the liability for all of us if you guys go down that route and you don't have something legally in writing that they are taking that full financial responsibility, because then you're gonna stay with a situation where they tell you yes, but then let's say they don't go through with it or they don't pay it, and then that forces the association's hand to take care of it in order to finalize the final permit of the roof. And I'm telling you guys all of this because I had inspectors here in my house last week, so I know exactly
Yeah.
what I'm telling you, because I asked them some of the
Yeah.
questions that I'm bringing up to you. I asked them of my concerns.
Well, Natalie.
Okay, but regarding that, let me tell you real quick.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So sorry, not to
So
mean
real
to
quick.
overwhelm you. I just think I came in at a wrong
No, no.
time. You heard a
No,
lot.
no, Natalie, actually,
No, it's fine.
you make a very good point because the cost of my enclosure was about that price.
Yeah, no, I know, because I
The
have
thing is that,
multiple
the thing is that the
estimates.
approach that we had before, and we basically underestimate the costs because we know that the legalities that this will imply for the association. But remember that last year, Marc Antonio with the previous board, they decided to amend the bylaw, things that never happens in the history of Leeward Point, basically to address the issue with the balcony. When we were in the meeting of guarantee all the legalities, they were saying that they were preparing the language for the attorney because they wanted to start creating some base in order to accelerate and expedite the process for the contractors. So we basically point out that this sort of amendment will create a liability because if you don't have a implementation, if you don't have a very detail oriented, like a project, you cannot let every unit owners decided to put whatever they want.
Yeah.
And they're gonna use it in a very, like inexpensive way. And then therefore they're gonna start having, like a situation. I'm gonna mention one case that was on unit 2022, 23, Alexandra. And she have termites on the enclosures. And condominium, actually pay for something that it wasn't really responsible. My concern, the concern that actually Manuela raised at that point is that what will be the instances that is going to protect us after we basically release that liability for every unit owners to take on, because we don't have any document per se, Natalie, that says you need to build this facade using this certain method. We don't have anything. This is all a la carte as you wish. And then the liabilities are going to come back anyway to the association. And this is the thing that we want to try to prevent, because we know the importance and the legalities that is implied into all these decisions. So,
but you guys as the new board, can you change that language to say the balconies, you're approving these balconies, but they are, they're responsible for the, the liability, the financial, so that God forbid there's ever an incident with
definitely.
balconies or anything of those enclosures, we're not liable.
Yeah, but the other thing is, by the way, the way
need
we
to
can
understand
enforce.
exactly what happened, because there's a document created already for that particular amendment, and I haven't been able to, to disclose everything.
Because remember, whoever made those changes, it may be in their best interest too, because they want to enclose their balconies. So we also need to
Yeah.
make sure that the language protects financially and legally, the rest of us, because as you all already know,
Yeah.
we're gonna get hit very big financially when
But
we.
Natalie, imagine that, and this is what we were sorted out with all the contractors and say, okay, so we know that this is a kind of worm, and if we start, touching those enclosures, we're gonna end up, like trapped into, like sort of many difficulties. But one thing that we need to understand that we are making a big investment to improve the appeal of the roof and the stability and the safety of the roof. So for us to understand that we're going to repair 95% and the other 5 is going to be left out as it is because we don't want to, like endorse the problem. So it's there where we need to actually find a tune, find, the middle line in order to make sure that, or either we talk with the city, we talk with the contractor, and we find some ways that we could, like fix it in a way that is consistent. It looks like it's an overall improvement, and all the houses are more appealing and for the benefit of the whole community.
Yeah, and we have to make sure that each of those owners is willing to cover that financial cost, right? Because that's not something.
Yeah, and if they're not willing to cover the financial cost, let me, because I have to go, so let me please finish. If they're not willing to cover the financial cost, we can just legally, because the balconies are actually the responsibility of the
common area,
association.
yeah.
We can actually ask them to remove the enclosures, bring it to original, and that's the end of it. So that's the choice that they will have to do. The choice they will have to make. And guys, I have to go, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
The only thing I want to notice, and this is a point that you raised, Natalie, is that last year there was this huge rotation for the enclosures, meaning changing the wording on the bylaw. If they didn't do it correctly, if the wording is not expressed, and I believe it's not, but I don't know.
Yeah, because then it leaves it open-ended for them to legally. That's why I'm saying, you guys, before you approach them with this, I would suggest that you guys view that language, and if it needs to be edited, edit it before you then approach them with this situation to make, and I would review it with the attorney to make sure that we are all protected, because then they can come back and say, you're making me bring the balcony up to the original, well, then you guys pay for it, it's your common area, even though they made it illegal, or vice versa. So I want to make sure we're covered.
And this is a great point. My only concern is that any votation now to change this wording will need, once again, like the 75% of the vote. So it will need to involve a lot of people to change it. That is my concern.
Yeah, but I'm sure the community will vote for it.
Yeah.
Knowing the financial impact it's gonna have if it's not done correctly, with knowing the situation of the balconies. I can guarantee you that we will have more. I mean, I'm like pretty sure, because I know everybody that I talk to keeps telling me we just want this done. Like, we're all here in panic that the summer's up, around the corner.
No, completely. No, thank you. This is a great point. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Because if we have to change the language, we need to go back to the owners. We need to get those 75%, which is 30-something votes, and we need to guarantee that we have it, even to change slightly the language that was defined last year.
Yeah, even to say like you're going to now allow it, even though they were illegal, as long as they are gonna, cover it, like, put that they're, legally responsible, those type of languages that the attorney would legally be able to tell you to protect everybody else that's not those balconies that are illegal.
If we wouldn't, take the whole structure out, we wouldn't have any problem. Right now, it's actually
On building 2 and 3, because building 1 and 4, I don't think that there is any enclosure building, and building 1 is only 2 enclosures, and building 4, which is 1 is mine. And mine's already been taken care of because I actually did it the proper way.
Yeah, but yours is legal, so you don't have an issue.
Yours legal and Alan's.
No, mine is in the process of legalization because they didn't allow me to legalize. So now.
Oh, I thought yours was legal.
So yes, but it is as you say, Natalie, it's a very costly, and what we need to understand from the contractor, how much can they help us to fix at least the outside without having so much implication. I know this is gonna be impossible because the city is going to require, like those things, especially for building 2 and 3, which is they already exposed the structure and they need to connect. And there's gonna be no way that they can, like go, look to the other side. On building 1 and building 4, since if we're gonna do a repair, so we don't need to do that. So
Yeah.
it's much easier.
Yeah. Okay, thank you guys for clearing that up for me. I was just very confused when I came in, so thank you for making me understand. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
So from my understanding, we're gonna wait until Friday, we start to see the answers, they are already accommodating that. I think we need an email to the contractors highlighting these will be great, so they will have something to say in the proposal.
Well, I said on the minutes, and the minutes state that the contractor,
But I think that this is so relevant that I would include copy, including in.
this
an
is
email.
already in the Dropbox.
I know, but one thing is the Dropbox, another thing is to receive an email to say, look, the deadline is now the 3rd of June, the 3rd of May, sorry. And there, please be very attentive to the Dropbox, especially in things that are related to the employment.
Well, I think that Jay,
You already
as
said.
a project manager, I have probably suggest that idea that he can do a recap and they, like blast an email to all the contractors to reinforce the main point. One thing that is critical for me right now is that we should start working on the contract. Because we need to work with the lawyer, and I don't see that from Jay. I don't know if we still not so okay about it, because there's so many details. We look at the different instances and
But the contract will be received as a proposal, so whenever a contractor and a roofer is going to send a proposal, they're gonna send it in the form of a contract. Then we do like a pre-selection, and for the one that is chosen, we send it to our attorney to do the necessary revisions to make it final. Why should we be already working in the contract?
because I think that
Because they're gonna send us a contract. It's like when I make a proposal, I send it to them, and they sign and sign. So
they're gonna send an estimate, but the contract is attached to the
I hope so, absolutely, probably, in perfection did it before, so usually they would send that, this is the insurance, and then we would send everything to the attorneys to validate that we are not missing anything. We could have already a list, but whenever we talk with Avi and the other attorneys, they were very clear of the checklist the contractor needs to have to do a work in Florida.
Well, I just need to see the documentation, because what I asked Jay to produce on the requirements was to get the 2 form, which is kind of like the contractor qualifications and the instructions to the bidder, but I don't know if those forms are. Okay.
Yeah, so and I think that's right. In terms of, they would typically send, any contractor would send their terms and conditions. It might not be directly there in the information they provide next Friday, but if we whittle down and sort of say, here's what it is, then we see their T's and C's. But I think, and maybe I misunderstood you. When you say we need to work on the contract, is that more like we need to define the terms that we want?
That's exactly what we need to actually do. We need to actually go.
Like not necessarily in contract form, but here's what's most important to us.
We have a typical contracts, from the American Architects Institute, that actually are contracts for roofers or clients contract, and we need to look at those languages, because we need to, I mean, check work on that, because it depends on the delivery system, the delivery that we're using. Then we need to like look for a contract that can
it's more fixed to our needs and we can custom, but we need to go from a contract, those contracts that they are, like universal, and then find out exactly what would be the clauses, the articles that we should, have for our community, for our protection, besides the ones that we are going to,
I mean, in that vein, I mean, I could send Avi and Alexis email, hey, what's the best roofing contract you've seen? Do you have a copy of it? That we, that was fully protected and, blah, blah, blah. They might have it, might not have it. But if they do have it and they're willing to share it with us, now we can look at that and say, oh, we like this, we like that, we don't like that. And sort of edit it that way. And then we go back to what the roofers are sending and, eventually mold it together.
well, there's two main contracts out there that they can actually refer to, which is the A101, which is a relationship between contractor and client, and the 201, which is the general condition for construction. And that probably is the base of all the contracts out there. So we should look, or the attorney should look for the best article that fits our because we need to combine not only their proposal in their contract, we need to also understand if there is anything on this standard, a contract that protects the client is going to be working with what they're proposing. So
You want me to reach out to them then? See if they have best in class or? Not that, I'm not asking them to create it. If they have it in their, from a different client, that they block out the names.
after we receive all the submittal, we can, take a look at it and then, work with the
Asking for a checklist, at least in an example, in a good example, then we could go. I remember once you mentioned something that it should have been in the contract before. I don't remember exactly. You don't remember what? It was like a clause that defend us. It's getting a little bit more expensive, but it was something that you mentioned. So if we have all these things that should be in the contract, like a checking list, right? And then an example, if they have, like, what are the checking lists of the main? I believe if you go to ChatGPT, you will also get it, but probably you already have the.
Well, I have some, some example of contract for these two situations. I can forward to Abby if they don't have it. I guess that they probably might have those kind of contracts. Okay. So it's just for them to check and to understand when we receive those information, if we are going to have any clause that, guarantees, like some sort of protection, because they're going to actually go by their protection, not the protection of the client. I think we already experienced the same before.
Okay, so that winds down the meeting. Just for the homeowners, the deadline to receive the RFPs are Friday, May 3rd. Not this Friday, but next Friday. And we will be opening those up, the ones that we do receive at 6 p.m. And so,
Are we talking about
Because for the 50-year certification, we have three items. One is the submittal for the 50-year report. So all the reports are done. They will deliver the physical report on Friday. So I'm gonna meet with ladies on the city. And she's gonna handle the work because this.
do they allow us to read it before it's submitted?
They going to send us an electronic report to us.
Like if we debated something they say?
No, you mean the engineers? Because the engineers are gonna give us all the report. That report is going to be give us to us physical and also electronic. So we are gonna be able to read the report while the city is actually on the revision. So definitely we're gonna read if we pass or if we fail. And when the city, like records that, they're going to, basically come here and check and then give us.
We don't have anything to revise anything.
Not until the city, issue that order. So we're gonna have some time because I remember that the 40 years inspection lasts about almost 3 years.
The
To,
recertification.
that because there's so many instances that you don't pass all at once, so you need to actually do fixing for certain areas. So probably there are some areas that might take some time to repair, and there's some project, for instance, so the lighting, we need to wait until we have roof 2 and 3 all done. So until that area is already failed by illumination, and the engineer told me already, we are good on the rest, but that is gonna be a deficiency. What I'm really afraid is on the structural. Because he came and he said, well, there's a lot of deficiency, and let's see what happened on that report. He went with the hammer and he went with some metal stick, and he also said that most of the windows here are done, without a permit, and he can tell that and say, those needs to be reviewed because you're not gonna pass the ceiling, because for this 50-year certification, the windows are also, taken in consideration. So
If the windows are from the unit, this is responsibility for the unit to fix, correct?
no, definitely, yeah, the unit owner have to. So we need to, until they fix it, we are not gonna be passed.
Even if they're original.
Even that I have to replace mine because mine's are original.
So there will be recommendations for original position for association and for the owners.
What is gonna be coming from the engineer with a recommendation, and the city is the one that is going to say, that is going to have the last say, basically. And we need to wait until the city get the report and check. All right, so then, the drywall report, ladies, it's been going around because right now they're hooked up with the 50-year certification. They are switching thing, and she told me, Alfredo, give me another day because I cannot give you the dry report. So tomorrow he's gonna do it.
Same time we have the evidence, so we can send to Huawei and then send it. So when we have until next Friday, so we need to send them to Vance with 400 groups. It's an estimate of fees. For the drywalls, we're an estimate of that.
Yeah.
Now we have seen it, so it's not our, it's a real financials.
And for the forensic report, the engineer was here on Monday, and she's going to basically have a few sessions coming because they need to come with another engineer to assess some areas. She was very interesting to understand, why those details in the corners were done in that fashion way. Because I probably will show you the pictures when the connections are designed with one, huge screw, and the attachment on the wall with those blue screw, they are just basically pinned. And I say, this doesn't make any sense. But they say, well, maybe that's gonna be an afterthought that they probably, have no way of doing it. But it was a little bit questionable. And yeah, so but she actually included on the report, and he went to a couple of units inside, and she took some other pictures, and let's see. I think that the report is gonna take like a couple of weeks. I know that you are asking for this for the bags. This is gonna be for the insurance. Okay.
No, from the insurance and 5.8. Then the price, but the price of the drivers is for the value.
All right, well, so that was the only thing that I needed to say to report it on the minutes. So,
Awesome.
thank you, Danny.
Dennis, have a good night. Good to see you. It is 7:30 on the nose. We are ending this meeting. You all have a good night. Oh, wait, let me stop recording.
Disconnected.